Was shot over a pair of jeans. That's how a Raleigh father says he lost his 15-year-old son. Police say the shooting happened on Friday morning on Springshire Court. You might remember we were covering it as breaking news through the day on Friday. This is right off Sunnybrook Road. A young suspect is now in custody. And Dewan Hogard is joining us live now. Dewan, you spoke to the victim's father earlier today, who shared much more about his son's final moments and this devastating loss of his.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. C.J. Alston, that's Caden's dad. I had a chance to speak with him inside the family's living room earlier today for several minutes, and he tells me the boy who police say shot his own son, he was told the night before, couldn't even be allowed over at the house.
I seen him on the ring camera like 11:36. By 11:51, the police was here.
C.J. Alston is still in a state of disbelief tonight, days after his son Caden was shot and killed in the family's home by someone who he says pretended to be his son's friend.
The boy who shot Caden has known him for a few years. I want to say at least like 5-6 years, probably longer.
According to Alston, it all allegedly started after two boys came over to the house for a pair of jeans that Caden was selling. But he says the boys did not want to pay for the clothing, so instead, Alston says one of the boys shot his son.
When he got shot, he told him, like, you shot me.
He says the inside of the house was covered in his son's blood as he tried to call 911.
Caden was in here running around, like, trying to clean up his own blood from the bathroom, the closet door, the kitchen. It's just like, it was blood drops everywhere. He even had a roll of tissue that it's got his like handprint, his bloody handprint in it.
Alston visibly grieving the loss of his only son as he shared these pictures with me of the two of them from over the years.
I'm just still in disbelief. I'm upset, I'm angry. I just hate it. Caden was my only kid.
And Raleigh police, as reported, have since made an arrest on juvenile petitions. And because of that juvenile's age, his identity will not be released. CJ also tells me the boy who police say did it actually knew his son for several years. He also knew of CJ very well. And he's still very surprised that any of this would have happened there at the home.
Man, oh man, oh man. What a tragedy. What an absolute tragedy. Now, y'all know good and well this type of stuff ain't supposed to be happening to no kids, man. Be honest with you, shouldn't happen to anybody, especially a kid. And all because of somebody that supposedly you call your friend. Like, how many times have we seen this, guys? How many times have we heard or even experienced situations like this? That people that's supposed to be your friend, people that's supposed to have your back, supposed to look out for you, pick you up when you're down, you know, get your things that you need, provide, you know, mental support for you, shoulder to lean on, right? I mean, that's a true definition of a friend. I never heard of a friend sabotaging you, physically assaulting you, verbally assaulting you, talking behind your back, stealing from you. That's not a friend. That's what we call a frenemy. Beware of the frenemies. And you guys should know what a frenemy is. And in the case of this 15-year-old boy, he didn't have a friend, he had a frenemy. So, pretty much in context of what's going on, the two young men that showed up to his house, like, why did they show up to the house? They wanted to look at the pair of jeans, right? Supposedly. But was this a setup the whole time? And you think about it, like, these are teenagers, right? But usually with a teenager, their brain capacity is not, excuse me guys, it's not like of a full adult. You would think like they shouldn't be able to plan these type of things out, right? They shouldn't be able to, you know, to do that, right? I mean, I wouldn't think so. They say that the male brain isn't fully developed until around 25 years old. Again, these are teenagers. So was this premeditated? I mean, that's the question that I'm asking. It sure seems that way. And all this young man was trying to do was sell a pair of jeans. And he lost his life. He was unalived over a pair of jeans. It's the same situation, guys, with these Jordans. Same thing. Same situation with the Eddie Bauer coats back in the 90s, if you guys are old enough to remember that. Kids getting their chains snatched. People used to get their Timberland boots snatched off their feet. Robbed at gunpoint. All kind of stuff, man. All this over something material. And you just really got to feel for the father, man, because as he explained all this stuff in detail, like I got like a vivid description of that, like visually in my mind from point A, B, C, D, E, and on. Like I could see everything that he's saying as he's explaining, as if I was there myself. Which makes this even more terrible and more painful to not only talk about, but to hear as well. Because you kind of put yourself in that father's, position. And again, you can visually see what he's talking about. I mean, the thing is, guys, I'm going to say this also, these type of things, it's not supposed to happen. Now, somebody may say, well, you gotta watch these kids, man, or they may say, well, the father should have known that this young man was a bad influence. He was up to no good. Well, obviously the father knew that, because that's why he didn't want the boy around his son. That's why he was banned, as he said in the video. But the thing about it is, like, you got to think about this, guys. Whether you have kids or not, even if you got nieces and nephews, you're not going to always be around them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At some point in time throughout the day, they're going to be out of your, you know what I'm trying to say, guys. They're just not going to be around you. You can't keep your eyes on them all the time. So, in this situation, like I said, if this was premeditated, apparently this is when the teenage boys decided to carry this heinous crime out at that point in time. The father wouldn't have been able to protect this boy, like I said, at all hours at any time of day, because eventually he's got to go to school. Eventually, he's going to go to the mall. He's going to go all these other places that teenagers usually hang out at, right? So, if it didn't happen at the home, it would happen at any of these other places. And, it's a shame. It's a tragic shame, man, that this young man had to go out like that over a pair of jeans because his so-called friends wanted to set him up. That's all this was. It was a setup. They didn't want to pay for it. And now it makes you think, were they really his friends in the first place? It's a quick answer. It's a simple answer. That answer is no. So this is a lesson for all of us, man. Be mindful. Be extremely careful who you let in your inner circle. Be extremely careful who you get close to. Because everybody's not your friend. Everybody does not have your back. Everybody does not care about you like you may think they do. And in a situation like this, it proves it. Here's another thing I'm going to leave you guys with. Be mindful. Be careful who you let in your house. Because keep in mind, everybody has a certain spirit with them. Everybody has a certain vibe, and it's not always a positive vibe. It's not always a positive spirit. Some people have negative energy. You know, some people are just, you know, that's just how they are. So you want to have a house of love, you want to have a house of, you know, support, things like that. You don't want to bring all these different people and all these different energies and all these different spirits into your home. You don't want to do that. And usually, people that's paying attention, you should have some level of discernment to be able to see the type of people that's coming in and out of your home. And that goes for, you know, your friends, your child's friends, etc. You can read the room and see what type of people they are. But like I said, man, this is tragic. May the young man rest in peace. I pray that his father, you know, he finds some type of peace and comfort, man, in this situation. Unfortunately, this was his only child. And it just goes to show you, you know, you just have to be, like I said, extremely careful of who you allow in your inner circle. And unfortunately, you know, these things happen. Everybody just can't be saved. And you know, you kind of think back, like, what else could really have been done, especially from the father's point of view. And to me personally, I would say nothing. I think he did everything he was supposed to do, because nobody knew that this was going to happen. Nobody saw this coming. But again, that father had some sort of discernment about him to know that that young man, something was wrong, something was off. And that's the reason why he said he don't want his son around this kid. You know, he's banned from this house. It's just what it is. All right. So y'all drop a like down below on the video, comment, share the video. Make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one. All right. Peace.